Well, I had a lot of fun this week revisiting tunes, kind of putting some packs together, but remembering tunes that I had put lessons together on. The Al Stewart tunes, James Taylor songs. Anyway, that was one of them. End of the Day is what I played there at the beginning. Great tune of Al's from Time Passages. And yeah, so, oh, it is Friday, July 29th. Boy, it feels like Sunday to me. I feel like I've been through a weekend. We have had 4 family members moving out of 3 places into 2 places, and all that's been going on Wednesday and Thursday. And so by the time today rolled around, I was feeling like we've been moving for like 2 days. It's got to be Sunday or Monday by now. Anyhow, so a lot going on behind the scenes here in the vicinity of TG Central that has sort of distracted me from getting stuff done from the music world. But did have some really, let's see, which one am I going to talk about first? Mexico. Should I get the capo? Nah, no capo necessary for just playing that much of it. This was great that it showed up on the forum that somebody asked about Mexico, and I thought, wait a minute, I already did a lesson on that. No, but I started one about 5 years ago, and then I dug up the tab. I had a lot of it tabbed out, and I remember as I was putting it together now, it sort of fell off the radar because it was getting really, really complicated. How am I going to explain this? Well, since then, I've done a whole lot of other lessons on percussive playing. That will be next week's tip. This week's tip is going to be about arpeggios, but next week I'm going to forget. Remind me. How are you going to do that? Put it up in the forum. That I'm going to talk about percussive playing. But a hint here is take a look at the intro, just the preview to Mexico. You don't even have to be signed in or a member or anything for that. The preview, I think I talked about a really good exercise for working on percussive playing. I should stop talking about this because today's tip is arpeggios, but I'm not going to. Yes, I am. Okay. Anyway, the Mexico story is when I saw that post like, hey, you should add Mexico to your James Taylor tunes. I thought, we already have that. No, we didn't. Oh, I forgot. I didn't finish it. But I had this tab in relatively good shape, so that was pretty cool. But anyhow, and then that made me go back and look at James Taylor stuff, and I saw, wow, we got a ton of James Taylor lessons. And people ask me about packs. I get messages about, hey, why don't you have a pack of this or that? Because again, a lot of people like their lessons. Jim Croce pack is coming up, by the way, for those who have been asking. That's I don't know yet when, but probably even 2 of them. Just like James Taylor, there are more songs out there than I realized. Anyway, what story? The Mexico story. So when I went back to listen to the tune again and looked at what I had tabbed out, I thought, wow, I got the whole intro tabbed out, which was difficult. Trust me. And I hope some of you, it's only been up for a couple days now, but I hope some of you have had a chance to start looking at it. But anyway, so that one sort of got cuts to the front of the line of the other things I'm working on. Still, every week I tell you a little bit about some of the things that I've got under construction. So, I had one other, while I'm talking about packs. So we had 2 James Taylor packs, the Sweet Baby James pack and a Mudslide Slim pack, both of which have 5. Actually, the Sweet Baby James one has 6 in it. But great way to pick up 5 or 6 songs at 30 or 40% off of what it would cost to get them individually. Sorry, didn't mean to get into sales mode. And then the Al Stewart pack. That's really cool. 7 songs in there. I kind of had. Now I remember a long time ago I was thinking, oh well, let's see, 7 is an odd number. Let's. And I kept thinking of other songs of his I would want to put in there, and I had too many. Night Train to Munich. The one about the garden cards, House of Clocks. Anyway, great tunes of Al's. But I, anyhow, just decided, let's put it out priced as 5. But one more pack related thing, and that is, as I was looking through all these songs that are like unattached, I found a couple of lessons I did within the last year, I think, maybe a little earlier, that I'm just going to throw into the pack and let it have a few more tunes, and that is the Emerson, Lake and Palmer pack. If you already have that, you now have 2 more songs added to it. Take a Pebble and Trilogy are part of the Emerson, Lake and Palmer pack now, which makes it a 7 pack. Okay, enough. I guess while I'm talking about things, the banner behind me. We're getting close. I'm getting really excited about camp. I've been sending out emails to the 30 or 35 campers that we have. And if anybody has looked up there lately, they've noticed that it says we are sold out, but I have heard rumors from 2 people that they probably can't make it. So if you contact us, there's a contact button there. If you want to get on the waiting list, I could let you know in a week or 2 if there's a spot. Again, I'm keeping it limited to 35 people. So, okay, enough camp-related stuff. Things that were on the forum that were interesting this week to me. One was I guess it was the week before that the Mexico thing came up. But I also got a request from somebody asking about if we had lessons specifically for left-handed guitar players. And I said, no, I don't have anything specific for that. But I've taught people that played the guitar, I hate to even call it left-handed, but played the guitar, like Paul McCartney and Jimi Hendrix and stuff. And I guess that's part of the hazard of this world. This is right-handed because this is how most people play it, so we call this right-handed. Half of my family is left-handed. I'm not, but we got a lot of lefties in the family. And I think they actually outnumber the righties pretty much, which is because I think only 10% of the world is left-handed, but 50% of my family is. Anyway, and it mostly got me to thinking if there's anything I need to do differently or should address differently. And I know when I was talking to Doug Young a while ago about this, he said, you have lessons that talk about the right hand and the left hand, and you should maybe call it the strumming hand and the fretting hand, because it could be the other way around if you're Paul McCartney. Of course, if you're Paul McCartney, you don't need my lessons. Yeah, he could have used a little advice somewhere down the road, maybe. Anyway, but if anybody who plays left-handed, I used to tell people that if you're left-handed, it's an advantage to playing the guitar. This hand has to do more intricate stuff than this hand. But this hand has to keep time. It has to be more rhythmic. So for many people, that's easier with their dominant hand. And your left hand, but I always tell people both hands have to do such unusual things that it doesn't really matter. Just that you can't walk into most guitar stores if you play the guitar upside down and try out a bunch of different guitars and take one home. You're going to have to custom order one probably. Anyway, any lefties out there that want to share any of your experiences, there's a thread on the forum now about that. Another thread that I didn't really address too much last week, somebody had asked about picks. I showed you a little bit about kind of like how I would like to have people hold picks. Something floating around here. And then I did take a look at this website and I got really scared. There were some really scary looking things in there. So if you're adventurous, take a look at the link that Dave's not here, I believe, put up. Anyway, that's it for picks. Arpeggios. Are we ready for that? Nah. Let's play something. Oh boy, here's something I did listen to this. I should not do this. But I'm gonna see if I can piece something together really quickly from something I saw on the forum. think that's the intro. It goes something, that's pretty close. And then, of course, we hear Colin Blunstone's distinctive voice come in with that tune. Now, of course, Colin sung stuff like, stop. I almost slipped into Undone. We want to hear about like Time of the Season and, of course, She's Not There and Tell Her No. There we go. There were 3 Colin Blunstone tunes. Is that right? I Love You. And another one. Anyway, that he didn't sing that one, I don't think. Not with that band. It was the People. But let's save that for later. Anyway, so that may be something that we get that starts happening. I might break into that, the Alan Parsons tune that some people suggested a little while ago. Okay, on to today's tip. I had an old student kind of come back after 20 years who wanted to sort of get started but has to do it from a distance, and asked about some good arpeggio exercises to start getting back in shape. I always have people play things like House of the Rising Sun, but I use that as that's a left-hand exercise more in placing your fingers down in the order that you need them. That's what I use that for. So I'm gonna bring up 3 or 4 songs, probably just 3. We'll see how it goes. That would be a great way to start working on your right hand. And we're going to start with Hallelujah first. 6-note pattern. Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 6/8 time. So you're hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Accent the lowest note and the highest note. And when I have people work on this, I just have them practice going back and forth from a G chord to an E minor chord and not looking down here. Now, of course, when you play E minor, you don't even really need to put anything on when you're just doing this arpeggio. But the goal here is to be really consistent with those notes and have everyone come out crystal clear and your hand staying really stationary. If you want to get fancier, you can do the real introduction part, which includes the passing F sharp. So the 6th note would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hitting the F sharp on the 6th note of those 6, back and forth. So that's one of the first ones. And again, notice very stationary down here, hand, really only fingers moving. There are all kinds of other tunes that do things like this. Time in a Bottle. Now, interesting about Time in a Bottle, I guess I'm going to talk about 4 songs. Hadn't meant to bring up Time in a Bottle. But it's 6 notes, not in 6/8 time. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and it's in 3/4, but it's a flow of 6/8 notes. But we count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Because the vocals are clearly in 3/4. Do 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 do, as opposed to Hallelujah. Do 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 do. Oh, change keys. I need a D. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Anyway, both of those use the straight up and down 6-note pattern. A slightly more complicated one. Also 6 notes in 3/4 time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. This is the pattern for Play Me. And so it's now my 3 fingers are on the middle 4, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. And the pattern is thumb, index, middle, index, ring, middle. String-wise, that's 5, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3. And and what happens in Play Me, you could look at all these lessons. All these are just kind of like the introductions. Then it changes to a C sus4, where the E on the 4th string changes to F. In the song, it's 2 measures of each. Oops. Back to C. So this gets your ring finger off of the first string. Many times I say in finger picking, your ring finger is rarely going to play anything other than the first string. In this song, it plays the second string all the time. And in a lot of jazz stuff, you grab those three strings with those three fingers. Okay, work on that one too. Now, the other one, oh, what the heck, I'll put a capo on. I'm going to put the capo at the 5th fret so this sounds a little more like what you'll recognize. This is a 6-note pattern in 3/4 time, but it feels like it's 6/8 because there's a bass note on the 4th beat. In this one, I'm going to play an A minor 7 chord, capo to the 5th fret. Nah, let's do away with the capo. We'll put it on later. For A minor 7, this pad, and now top three, these fingers go to the top strings. Ring finger on the 1st string, middle finger on the 2nd string, index finger on the 3rd string, thumb on the 5th and the 4th. And the pattern string-wise is going to be 5th, 1st, 3rd, then your thumb comes in on the 4th, then 2nd, and the 1st. So, string-wise, 5, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1. Finger-wise, thumb, ring, index, thumb on the 4th string, middle, index. Now, if you hear those bass notes as the beats, you'll hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But what I want you to try to do here is tap 3 beats and play that as quarter notes, but that means that as 3/4 notes with all of these being 1/8 notes, but the second thumb is not on a beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So get this feel. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now, if we do that on an A sus2 chord, which would be 2 notes at the 2nd fret, the 3rd and 4th strings, we'd have this. And make sure you're not feeling this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you're feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Figured out what song I'm messing around with yet? So, I'll put a capo up the neck. The original was done higher than this. I only go to the 5th fret. One of my personal rules. That's not true. I play songs higher, but I usually have students play this at the 5th fret. Take that A minor 7 chord, move it up 2 frets. Then play the A sus2 chord. Apply that picking pattern. Move your left hand very slowly because the first 2 notes are always open. And in the case of the 1st chord, the 3rd note's open too. And the last note is open. And now my next chord for the A sus2, I don't even have to have any of it on yet. So you can really take the whole thing off. I have students that try this and they try this. There was no reason to stop for that chord. So, but a good clue here is keep your 2nd finger in contact with the 4th string the whole time. And make sure you're feeling 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Oh, it's a G chord, huh? Okay, enough for today. See you next week. It will be August. Wow.